Welcome to another exciting video today. We're going to explore a mystery that has perplexed many. Have you ever dreamed of witnessing a miracle? Well, what we are about to show you could be an unexplained manifestation of supernatural forces in the calm waters of the Lake of Galilee, also known as the Sea of Tiberias or Lake Kinneret. A strange phenomenon has been reported that has left locals and experts completely baffled. This body of water located in northern Israel has witnessed momentous historical and religious events throughout the centuries, however, events that have left locals and experts completely baffled. A strange phenomenon that has left locals and experts completely baffled. This body of water located in northern Israel has witnessed momentous historical and religious events over the centuries. However, recent events have defied conventional explanations and have sown bewilderment among those who depend on these sacred waters during the last few years. During the last few months, the waters of the lake where Jesus performed some of his most famous miracles according to biblical texts have been experiencing sudden and unexplainable upheavals. The waves rise unexpectedly, creating eddies and turbulent currents that have no apparent cause. These episodes can last from a few minutes to several hours. I was sitting on the shore enjoying the tranquility of the lake when suddenly the waters began to churn violently, says one surprised tourist. It was as if an invisible force was stirring the water. The local fishermen whose lives and livelihoods depend on the rich waters of Lake Galilee have been the most affected by this disconcerting phenomenon. Many of them have had to temporarily suspend their work due to the intensity of the upheavals which has endangered their livelihoods. We have lived by this lake for generations, and we have never seen anything like this before, says a veteran fisherman. It is as if the lake is possessed by some unknown force. We can't trust the calmness of the waters, and this is what we have never seen. We have lived by this lake for generations, and we have never seen anything like it, laments a veteran fisherman. It is as if the lake is possessed by some unknown force. We cannot trust the calmness of the waters, and that makes our work very difficult. Local authorities and experts have been trying to find a rational explanation for these events, but so far we have never seen anything like it, says a veteran fisherman. But so far all their efforts have been in vain. Various scientists, from hydrogeologists to meteorologists, have exhaustively studied the phenomenon, analyzing factors such as winds, subway currents, seismic activity, and weather patterns, but no conventional explanation seems to fit. We have examined all the available data, and there is nothing that can be found to explain the phenomenon. We have examined all the available data, and there is nothing that can convincingly justify these upheavals, says a renowned hydrological expert. Climatic and geological conditions are stable, and there is no indication of significant seismic activity in the area. It is truly disconcerting. Some locals have begun to speculate about possible supernatural causes, given the significance of the phenomenon. According to biblical texts, it was in these waters that Jesus walked on the water, calmed a storm, and performed the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and fishes for many believers. These unexplained stirrings could be a divine sign or a reminder of the miraculous events that took place in this sacred place. This phenomenon of waters churning inexplicably is not new to Lake Galilee, as similar occurrences have been reported throughout history. Historical records and oral accounts handed down from generation to generation tell of episodes in which the waters of the lake seem to take on a life of their own in defiance of natural law. The local fishermen whose lives and livelihoods depend on these sacred waters have witnessed firsthand these disconcerting events, for they know every nook and cranny and every change in the lake like the back of their hand. These upheavals are truly alarming, surpassing any previous documented event. These upheavals represent an unknown and potentially dangerous force that threatens their way of life. I have spent my entire life in these waters, and I have never seen anything like this. And anticipate, but these eddies and currents seem to come out of nowhere without following any natural rules. The accounts of these veteran fishermen are heartbreaking. They speak of having seen their boats being violently tossed by the waves, of having been on the verge of capsizing. On more than one occasion, some have even been swept away by the sudden currents fighting for their lives in the waters they once knew like the back of their hand. It was as if a supernatural force was trying to pull us under. It recalls one young fisherman with eyes still glazed over by the trauma. It doesn't matter. For their lives in the waters, they once knew like the back of their hand. It was as if a supernatural force was trying to pull us under. recalls a young fisherman with his eyes still glazed over from the trauma. No matter how much Galilee paddles, many wonder if it will be worth it to continue risking their lives in these now unpredictable waters, while others refuse to give up the way of life. Refuse to abandon the way of life that has been part of their heritage for generations. We cannot simply give up and abandon our traditions, declares a determined fisherman. This lake has provided sustenance for us and our ancestors. Since time immemorial, we will find a way to coexist with these upheavals, or at least predict them to avoid tragedies as scientists, and the media will find a way to coexist with these upheavals. Tragedies as scientists and local authorities continue to investigate this phenomenon. The fishermen of Lake Galilee face a tough decision to adapt to this new reality, or risk losing everything they know and love. But their determination and their unbreakable bond with these historic waters will keep them fighting even in the face of what they know and love. Unknown. We were fishing peacefully when suddenly the water began to churn violently. Joseph recounts a 72-year-old veteran fisherman whose life has been tied to Lake Galilee for as long as he can remember. It was a peaceful morning like any other. The lake was calm, reflecting the blue sky like a perfect mirror. We had been working for hours gathering our nets full of fish when suddenly everything changed. Hours gathering our nets full of fish when suddenly everything changed. Joseph pauses, his eyes blur as he relives that fateful day in his mind. Our boats were rocking back and forth, and the waves were threatening to capsize them. I had never seen anything like this in all my years on the lake. It was as if a colossal force had awakened in the depths, determined to drag us down into the abyss. The old fisherman shakes his head, remembering the desperation of that moment. My companions and I fought with all our strength to keep the boat stable, rowing with an intensity that threatened to tear our muscles. But every time we advanced a little, a gigantic new wave pushed us backwards, as if the lake itself was mocking us, and we were being mocked by the waves. Joseph's voice cracks as he describes how the boat tilted dangerously from side to side, threatening to capsize at any moment. The cold water splashed on our faces, our sweaty hands, and for a moment I thought we would not survive. But Joseph and his crew were not the only ones fighting for their lives. That day, around them, other fishing boats were shaking violently, some even capsizing completely before the relentless fury of the waters. We heard the cries of our companions calling for help, but we could do nothing but concentrate on our own survival, he recalls with regret. Finally, after what seemed an eternity, the waters calmed as suddenly as they had churned. The lake returned to its usual tranquility as if nothing had happened, but the soaked and exhausted fishermen would never see the lake the same way again. Something changed in us that day, Joseph confesses solemnly. The lake that we once considered a faithful friend, a source of sustenance and life, had become a terrifying mystery, a reminder that there are forces in this world that defy our understanding. Since that fateful day, the violent upheavals have become more frequent, leaving the fishermen of the Sea of Galilee in a state of constant fear. Joseph and his companions have had to adapt their fishing techniques, developing strategies to anticipate and survive these inexplicable upheavals. But even with all their precautions, they know that every time they venture out onto the lake, they are defying an unknown and potentially deadly force. The local authorities have sought a rational explanation for these baffling events on the Sea of Galilee, but so far all their efforts have been in vain. Since the first report of these unexplained upheavals, teams of experts and resources have been mobilized to thoroughly investigate the phenomenon, determined to unravel its causes. Before more serious consequences occur, scientists from a variety of disciplines have exhaustively studied the phenomenon, analyzing a multitude of factors that could be behind these mysterious turbulent waters. The region's prevailing winds have been meticulously examined for patterns of unusual atmospheric activity that could generate such surges. But the meteorological data have revealed nothing out of the ordinary. That could be influencing the turbulent surface waters using state-of-the-art technology, such as ground-penetrating radar and seismic waves. The researchers have extensively scanned the lakebed and depths, without finding any evidence of unusual subsurface activity. We have examined all the data to justify these upheavals, says a renowned hydrology expert. Some suggest that it could be a supernatural event, while others insist that there must be a rational explanation that has yet to be discovered. Debates between these two factions have been heated, and both sides present compelling arguments. Proponents of the supernatural theory have been very vocal. They point out that the Lake of Galilee has an incalculable symbolic and religious importance. It was in these waters where Jesus walked on the water, calmed a storm, and performed the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and fishes. According to them, these upheavals' sacred place, we cannot rule out the possibility that we are witnessing a modern miracle. The Lake of Galilee has witnessed supernatural events in the past, and perhaps this is another manifestation of the hand of God. On the other hand, skeptics argue that however inexplicable these events may seem, there must be a natural cause behind them. They insist that science will eventually find the answer, as it has done with other seemingly mysterious phenomena in the past. Other seemingly mysterious phenomena throughout history, mankind has witnessed many events that seem to defy the laws of nature. But in the end, we have always succeeded in finding a scientific explanation. Says one prominent physicist, it is premature to assume that these upheavals are of supernatural origin. We simply need to keep investigating as the debate continues. Locals and visitors to Lake Galilee are drawn to this mysterious phenomenon. Some come hoping to witness a miracle, while others seek a rational explanation regardless of their beliefs. All are captivated by the beauty and power of these sacred waters. It is truly awe-inspiring to watch, as the waves suddenly rise up, as if an invisible force is controlling them. Comments an amazed tourist. It is an amazing spectacle, whether it is a miracle or a natural phenomenon. As research continues, scientists and religious leaders prepare to present their findings and theories. Some believe that the solution to the mystery could be hidden in ancient sacred texts or historical records. Others are confident that technological advances and new research techniques will shed light on this enigma after reviewing all the evidence and listening to the region's historical records. Others are confident that technological advances and new research techniques will shed light on this enigma, be hidden in the ancient sacred texts or in the historical records of the region. Others are confident that technological advances and new research techniques will shed light on this enigma. After reviewing all the evidence and listening to the experts, we will come to a conclusion that may surprise you. Will this be a modern miracle? Or is there a scientific explanation behind it all? Or perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, challenging our preconceived notions of the natural and the supernatural. Join us on this exciting journey through the sacred waters of Lake Galilee. Explore the theories, listen to the testimonies, and draw your own conclusions. What do you think is causing these unexplained upheavals? A miracle? A divine miracle, or a natural phenomenon yet to be discovered? Find out in this fascinating video as we delve deeper into this mystery. There are more questions than answers. Could these stirrings be related to some kind of hitherto unknown geological activity? Or perhaps it is a unique atmospheric phenomenon that we have not yet discovered. Some scientists have suggested the possibility of subway currents or hidden caverns beneath the lake that could be causing these disturbances on the surface, but so far, seismic and ultrasound studies have failed to detect anything out of the ordinary. It is as if the lake has a mind of its own. Every time we think we have found a clue, the phenomenon changes its pattern and leaves us again without answers. On the other hand, advocates of the supernatural theory have begun to collect ancient stories and testimonies of alleged miracles that have occurred in Lake Galilee over the centuries. According to them, these stories could contain important clues about the nature of the phenomena. Contain important clues about the nature of the current upheavals in the sacred texts. There are numerous references to miraculous events related to water, explains one religious scholar, from the parting of the Red Sea to the turning of water into wine at the wedding feast of Cana. Divine power has repeatedly manifested itself through this element. Some have even suggested that these upheavals were caused by the water. Have even suggested that these upheavals could be a harbinger of future events of great spiritual or religious significance. Several groups have begun to gather on the shores of the lake, holding vigils and prayers in an attempt to decipher the meaning behind this phenomenon. We are witnessing something truly extraordinary, says one spiritual leader already. Whether a miracle or a natural phenomenon, these upheavals are a reminder that there are forces beyond our comprehension at work in the world. Meanwhile, tourists and visitors continue to arrive in large numbers, attracted by the opportunity to witness this unprecedented event. Some are looking for answers, while others simply wish to experience the thrill of witnessing something potentially miraculous. I came here hoping to find peace and renew my faith, confesses a pilgrim. And although I don't have all the answers, The mere fact of being here to see these sacred waters churning in inexplicable ways has strengthened my belief in the divine. As research progresses, ever more advanced technologies are being used to try and unravel the mystery of this event. From underwater drones to state-of-the-art seismic sensors, experts are sparing no effort in their search for answers. "We are leaving all options on the table," says a leading oceanographer, "not to rule out any theory, no matter how far-fetched it may seem, until we have hard evidence to disprove it." In the meantime, the debates between proponents of the scientific explanation and believers in a divine miracle continue to intensify, with both sides presenting convincing arguments and evidence to support their respective positions, some highlighting the fact that Lake Galilee has witnessed numerous events. Others, however, insist that science will eventually find a rational explanation, as it has done with so many other mysterious phenomena throughout history. We cannot let our personal beliefs cloud our scientific judgment. Warns one reputable physicist, "We must keep an open mind and keep investigating until we find the true cause behind these upheavals, no matter how ordinary it may be, as more information is accumulated and analyzed." Warns one reputed physicist, "We must keep an open mind and keep investigating until we find the true cause behind these upheavals, no matter how ordinary it may be, as more information accumulates and new data is analyzed, more and more intricate and fascinating theories emerge." Some suggest that the upheavals could be the result of a complex interaction between factors that may have caused the upheavals, and the fact that they are the result of a complex interaction between factors that may have caused the upheavals. The result of a complex interaction between natural factors and unknown forces, something that challenges our current understanding of reality. Perhaps we are witnessing a phenomenon that transcends our distinction between the natural and the supernatural, speculates one philosopher of science. Perhaps we need to redefine our fundamental concepts in order to truly understand as we approach the end of this video. It is likely that more questions have arisen rather than answers, but that is precisely the nature of the most captivating mysteries. The more we explore them, the more fascinating they become. So what do you think is causing these unexplained actions in the lake? Galilee is a divine miracle, a natural phenomenon yet to be discovered, or perhaps something beyond our current understanding. The truth is that for now we do not have a definitive answer, but that uncertainty is precisely what makes this mystery so exciting. It reminds us that despite all our scientific and technological advances, there are still things in this world that challenge our understanding and fuel our curiosity. So keep an open mind and keep exploring. Who knows? Maybe you are the person who finally unravels the mystery of the unexplained stirrings in the Lake of Galilee. You are up for the challenge.